Hi. So, someone told me recently that healing is recovering from nonsense. And it struck me that a lot of people who say what they want don't really know what they want because they are in nonsense. They have literally been played so much and their head's been spun around so much by life in general, the messages that they've been given, that they don't know what they want. They think they know what they want, but they don't. And so when people come to me and they want psychic healing, a lot of times they don't know what they want. And or they come to me with a lot of trepidation and a lot of fear because of the messages that have been sent to them that are faulty. And it's a Herculean task. It's like trying to drain the ocean with a tin cup sometimes to get people over these faulty messages that they're given, because they're drawn to me and they want the psychic ability, and yet they believe the conspiracies that the Eye of Horus is a negative thing, when in fact it's actually a illustration of a cross-section of the brain where the pineal gland is. The eye is the actual pineal gland. And this is something that the priest class has been taught and they have kept from the public. And this is something that the church confuses you with, of all kinds of religions, about psychic ability. On the one hand, in Christianity, for instance, and I guess in Islam as well, on the one hand you have prophets, and they're legitimate psychics because they speak from the mouth of God. They're mouthpieces for God. But any other kind of quote-unquote conjuring or mediumship is considered evil. And so you have these control systems that were created very deliberately to confuse and confound and hide, which is what the occult system is. It is a separation of the wheat from chaff. But you have these control systems telling you psychic ability is bad and evil, but not for these people, not for this group. Of course, you're going to create a lot of chaos and a lot of confusion and a lot of fear. And then the control system that created the confusion and split personality about what to do with this thing, this thing that's in natural man, it's in natural woman, it's in natural humans. It's called your intuition. It's called your instinct. It's called listening to yourself. The control systems don't want you listening to yourself. And so what you create is a schizoid personality, or a schizophrenic personality in a culture that is taught to be fearful of the supernatural and fearful of the paranormal. And really, the supernatural is natural. There's no super in it. It's natural. But what these control systems have effectively done is create so much fear and panic around what it is that I do every day, all day. And people like me. We simply have tapped into something that most people have forgot. And they don't know it exists because they've been told it doesn't exist. And so the reason people don't come to me is because they're of two minds. And they can't decide because they're so far from themselves that they don't even know what they like and what they don't like. And when people inquire about things and they explicitly tell me over and over, my imam told me not to do this, that this is wrong. For some reason, there's this split between a lot of people I know who are Catholic. Some of them are hardcore believers, but they only believe in the mediumship abilities and they don't want to listen to the psychic part of it. That's about their lives. They just want to speak to the dead for some reason. And I don't know why that is. I'm not Catholic. I have no idea why I get so many primarily Italian or Roman Catholic Americans who come to me and they just want mediumship. And I don't know why that is. Maybe it's something in Catholicism. If somebody could tell me, does it have something to do with the Spirit, Holy Spirit? I have no idea. And I try, and things always come in with people like that who are of such singular mind. So there's that aspect of it. And then there's the other aspect of people totally want to distance themselves from that because they've been told it's not real. It's not real. And I think the reason there are so many, the polarization is there so deeply is not because people think it's not real. It's because people think it is real and they don't want to admit it. And this split, this, no pun intended, psychic split, this schizophrenia will continue as long as people are of two minds. And you can't have that anymore if you want to be whole as a psychic, empathic, sensitive person who feels. The world is trying to tell you that you should become an autistic sociopath on SSRIs who wants nothing more than to have sex but not fall in love, than to acquire materialistic accomplishments but not inquire about what the meaning is behind it beyond status. They would have you think, because it's a system of thinking that you've been taught, that material wealth is good and spirituality of any kind is bad. And then they will spend thousands of years telling you that you should be materialistically successful and productive, but that you shouldn't inquire what the end game is in all of that. And they will tell you that you are a success if you bag a ton of women and you're friends with Courtney Love. They'll tell you that's fame and that's fortune and that's success. Such bullshit. Little boys and little girls playing games. And we're well beyond that, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have to be friends with Courtney Love to be successful. The end.